Good evening, CLC. I'm Naomi Fada. Thanks so much for joining me here this evening. So as I just continue to talk about peace, I've been just thinking about the character of God, our Father, and how much, really when we know His character, when we know who He is, and rest in that fact. When the knowledge of God or the relationship with God our Father is not just something we know in our head, but something that we also, are living out of from our heart, then how much more we can walk in peace and freedom from anxiety. And even for myself, that especially when life feels chaotic and unexpected, it is very challenging to live in, to fully live in peace. It's something that, a battle against our anxieties and concerns that maybe we struggle with at certain times of our life more than others. But certainly it's a work in progress for all of us. And thankfully, God's not done with us yet, and He's still working on us. So one aspect of the character of God that I've just been dwelling on is His protection. God as a father, every father wants to protect his children. And what exactly does protection mean? In my natural mind, I might want to think that protection means that there won't be any storms, or that He'll save us from every bad thing. But that's not really what it means, because life is going to happen, and things are going to happen, and actually those bad things, those storms, the things that challenge us, those grow our character. And so just because they're in our life doesn't mean that His protection, He isn't protecting us. So I think even of like a storm shelter, in some parts of the country, like Florida, there's hurricanes, and when they hear a hurricane is coming, they take action to, board up the house, or to stay in a safe place where the hurricane isn't going to be able to harm them. And so I think of that too in terms of God and the shelter that He offers. Even in Psalm 91, it talks about God as a refuge. But is it sometimes that I am not running to Him and taking refuge in the protection and the shelter that He offers? And so when those storms come, if you or I, if we're not running to Him, if we're not running into that shelter, that refuge, if we're not, then there isn't protection. And it's not that He isn't there. Maybe sometimes it's that I haven't taken the time to fully continue to press into that refuge, that place of refuge. And so, because we always have to remember that God's promises never fail. He's always the same, and He is who He says He is. And often, of course, the problem is never with God, because He's perfect. And so if I'm not feeling that refuge, or I'm not, then it's something that I need to allow Him to draw me closer, so that I can take refuge in that. So one of the other things that I was thinking of as far as protection is, children, as parents, we protect them by giving them rules. So maybe you tell your kid, don't run in the road, and that protects them from oncoming cars. And how much more so is there's, whether it's rules laid out in the Bible, or just guidelines that God might be giving us personally as far as direction in our lives. These things are there as a form of protection. Even the 10 Commandments, like don't kill, don't commit adultery, like those things are there for our protection. And when it's something that God our Father cared enough to instruct us to give us a path of life. And when we are walking outside of that, we're walking outside of protection. And so it's just a reminder to really be thinking about that in terms of the circumstances and the storms that surround us, and what boundaries or guidelines God might have given us. And the other verse that I just want to share is Colossians 3:3. And it says, "For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God." And just as like a final thought on protection, this idea of, when we're in control, we're not dead. Like, so this verse is talking about, for you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ. And so in terms of death, we've died to our desire for control, or going our own way. And yet, and so we've died to that sinful human nature, and are alive in Christ, and then we're hidden with him. And like, that hiddenness is protection. We're protected by him, under the shadow of his wing. That's where he wants us to be. So I just encourage you, as you go about your week, whatever you're going through, just meditate on that God is your Father, and he loves you so much that he is a protector. He is your protector, and he longs to just draw you close and cover you and carry you through this storm. So may God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you again in church on Sunday. If you'd like to stay in touch, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You can like and subscribe our channel and stay connected.